Marquel Javontei received her bachelor's in English Arts from Hampton University and her master's in Management and Leadership from Liberty University. With over 20 years' experience in the beauty industry, she has vision, passion, and purpose. Fulfilling her destiny along with her sister, they opened their first of many family-owned Bovanti Cosmetics and Spa stores in Greensboro, North Carolina at Four Seasons Mall. They have been traveling the country empowering women with confidence, beauty, and power. Marquel is also a licensed esthetician, celebrity makeup artist, and master educator. She has been featured in Upscale Magazine, Rolling Out Magazine, Huami Magazine, Makeup 101 DVD and Fitness DVD, and taught makeup classes internationally for Bronner Brothers. Jasmine Cross is a New York native from Hollis, Queens, and has a true desire to serve her community and call people to their greatest potential. Jasmine creates innovative ways for people to flip businesses and help people gain exposure and maximize their monetary gains. Jasmine is also a life influencer and helps individuals gain clarity, break generational curses, and live their best lives unapologetically. Jasmine is also the CEO and founding goddess of Keep It Sweet Inc., a nonprofit organization that helps fund prom expenses for high school seniors in need. Keep It Sweet provides gowns, tuxedos, accessories, nails, hair, and makeup services, and she mentors the same students as they go off into their undergrad careers. She also has an online adult toy store, Toys for Us, and a CBD cannabis company called Highly Sedity LLC. She also helps others navigate the CBD industry and start their own brands and companies.
So I went to Hampton University. I was an English major and I originally wanted to do law. So I have a company called Monty Cosmetics. My parents, they started it 40 years ago. And myself and my sister were second generational owners of them. It's called Bovanti Cosmetics. Anyways, I started my whole journey. I wanted to be a lawyer. I was like, I'm gonna do this law thing, right? But I wanted to do entertainment law. I wanted the fun part of law. I wanted to be like out there with everybody else doing the celebs and all this stuff. But I realized that I did not like all this extra reading. I didn't like all of the actual stuff that came with law. It's not for me. And my dad had went to law school years ago, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna follow his footsteps. I'm gonna be a lawyer. But I was like, okay, that's just not for me. So thankfully, it's wonderful that being in a family business of beauty brand, it works perfectly for me because I really love what I do. I graduated from Hampton University in 2009. I got my master's in management and leadership from Liberty University. And I believe that with both of those, it does really help you to manage teams and get systems in place for you. So it really, really helps. And beyond that, I got my aesthetics license. I tell Candace all the time, we were doing makeup and lashes and brows and all this stuff in the student center from 12 to 2. On Fridays, we were doing makeup and stuff in the student center. But I really, really enjoy doing makeup. That's something that I really love. So instead of me doing this entertainment law for them, I do celeb makeovers. So I still get my celebs in there sometimes, but I do, it's kind of in the same basis. But yeah, I do kind of wish I did do law school, but I don't have to have it. So I made
I love it. I love it. Okay, Jasmine.
All right, so I'm Jasmine Cross. I am originally from New York, Queens, New York at that. I went to Howard. My whole family went to Howard. I believe if my daughter goes, she's like the legacy year, I believe. But so I started out, man, I changed my major so many times. I started out as a math major. And then when I got there freshman week, I was like, ooh, I don't think so. And everybody around me was like biology or business. So I moved to biology. I like science. It's kind of like my thing. And then I don't know. I was sitting in a class. It was probably microbiology, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go pre med." And I was like, "Oh no, that is not it. I just wanted to teach science." And I was like, "This is a lot of work to teach kids." Like, no. So I got rid of that and was like, I went to the my advisor crying. I used to come home every week, and I hated Howard my first year, and it's horrible, but it's true. And I went to my advisor, and it was like I couldn't find my footing. It was so hard. And I was like, I'm unhappy. And she's like, what would you do if um you didn't get paid for it. And I was like, I would do hair. And she was like, okay, well, go into business. She's like, because you need to know how to run your own numbers. So I was like, okay. Decided to go to into a business major, whatever. And then I came back to New York because I wound up having my daughter. My mom was like, oh, come home, and blah, blah. So my parents don't own a business. My mom is a retired administrator and principal here in New York City, and my dad is a retired cop. So I'm like the one to start the business in my family. So always applaud hearing stories of second generations and hopefully third and fourths, because it gives me a little bit of hope with my own children, or at least somebody in my family will pick up what I am leaving behind. So I think it's beautiful. And then my first thing I started was my nonprofit and it's called Keep It Sweet, which I send high school girls to prom in poverty stricken areas. So I pay for everything: hair, nails, makeup. I've even chauffeured some of them. But it started really because when I went to Howard, I was like, that was like the beginning of social media really popping in the early 2000s.
Mhm.
And I'm like, well, once we wear, because there's always, going to HBCU, there's always a gala, there's always a party, there's always something happening. And at that time, it was like MySpace and Facebook. So once the picture went up, you weren't wearing that dress again. So I'm like, if I can get people to donate their dresses to me, they're not going to wear them. They're fabulous. And that's how my nonprofit got started originally.
Speaking of, I'm going to continue with you, Jasmine. Speaking of becoming and starting all these businesses, when did you know it was time? When did you feel like you should reach out to some folks for investments? How did you think of your ideas for your multiple businesses? How did it all come about?
Um, while I was in college, I was like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I kind of knew that, right? Then it was like, well, what do you want to do? So of course you come back home. I came home, I got my cosmetology license, and I started working. I did hair some places. I worked corporate. Kind of try to find your footing in your 20s. Pregnant with my second daughter, and I got attacked at work. I was a psychiatric counselor. I got attacked, and I went out on hospital leave. I went out on medical leave, and I got fired while I was on medical leave. So I
Yeah.
was able to stay home with my daughter um, for a whole year, and I lived comfortably with no issues. And what I loved about this situation was it really opened my eyes to, like, you are an accessory at a job.
Mhm.
And because nobody came to see me when I had to be taken to the hospital. It was more like, well, when can you return to work? So that right there, it just didn't sit well with me. So of course I did get another job, but very early on in that job, I was like, oh no, I need to start my own business. It's called Toys for Us. And I was in a store one day, and like back in the day, Spencer's used to be a regular store in the front, and it had like the adult stuff in the back. It was like one of those. And I went back there. I'm like, this stuff is expensive. I wonder what this costs wholesale. And I started doing my research, and it was just like the beast was born. Like I I took that and I ran with it. In all honesty, my first investor was my kid's father. And he was like, okay, well, what do you need? Let me know what you need. He was my best friend for years. So he's always known of my crazy ideas. He's always down for the get down. Like, okay, whatever, just let me know what you need. So, and we're not together, but we're really good friends. Like, we co-parent so well. And I'll be honest with you all, like, family is not always going to be the first people to jump up and be like, hey, I got some money for you. Friends, maybe, but it may not be large. But yeah, he was just like, well, let me know what you need. And I started it, and I put some of my own money to it as well. But, and then I had friends that were in business, that were starting businesses. So we all just supported each other, and it kind of just took off from there. So 7 years later, and I still have that business, and it does really, really well. Still. So it's a blessing.
I just want to know about how have you made this portion of your work your own, right? Because if you come from, generational business, kind of like next to step up to the plate, how have you created your own space for you to also do the things that you want to do for yourself? Because I know sometimes it's like sometimes can be a burden for some, but you seem to maintain a level of poise and grace, and you speak very highly of everything that you do. You know, I've seen you on magazine covers. So just talk to us a little bit about that journey and getting to the point where you finally, you know, came to terms with your career choice and if it was going to lead you down whatever path that you're, you know, planning on going down.
So like I mentioned before, I wanted to go to aesthetic school. Originally, my mom was like, just go ahead and do aesthetics. And I was like, no, I want to do cosmetology because I like hair too. But it didn't make sense because how much do I really like doing hair? So I was like, okay, well, I don't really love hair. I love skin. So I'm really into like facials and, all the new tricks and techniques on how to keep your skin clear and all this big stuff regarding to skin. I'm the only one in my family that has a license in aesthetics. Nobody else has gotten a license in aesthetics. And so with that being said, like she mentioned before, I'm an educator. I do education at Bronner Brothers International Hair Shows. I just finished Premier Beauty Show. I educated at Premier Beauty Show. So I do these big shows, but it also gives me an opportunity and a platform in general just to promote myself. Marquel Javontei, we talk about this all the time, stage names. So my stage Marquel Javontei. So it gives me the opportunity to promote myself as an educator, as a person that my students can come to when they need help with the certain techniques or anything like that. I also teach microblading. So that's one of my big things that I do too. I do certification for microblading as well. I do lash certification. I do, of course, so what I say, I have a Javontei Beauty Academy. So it's my academy that I have, where I do have my many students in the academy. But I like to say that, my company we teach you what the beauty school doesn't. Beauty school is going to teach you how to basically just pass state board, and go from there. But I'm teaching you the design of a brow, like not just the wax an eyebrow off. Like, you know what I mean? I'm teaching you how to keep their brows full, how to go with the shape. So that's the thing that I really love. And I love that because I think my company in general, we're really big on education. We always have been. When you go to a makeup counter, you just get your makeup done and you don't know what in the world they did to you. But I think that we as a company, we just go ahead and tell you straight up, this is what you do. This is what you're supposed to do. And I think that I've always loved education in some form. But this way I'm able to teach it in an aspect. But like I said, my sister teaches more business, but I'm the one who teach more makeup education or skincare education or microblading, all that stuff. So I really do love that. I'm still able to incorporate education into what I personally love to do, but it's also in a form of beauty.
We're moms, right? We weren't always moms. So speaking from both perspectives, if you can, if you remember a time before children, I know it's very vague for me, but if you can speak about being involved in and having your own businesses prior to having children, or even, while having children now, how are you able to invest that personal time, or how do you make sure that you are investing time in your family and work life, that balance? How can we get there, even if we're trying to start a new venture or turn that gift into a little bit of extra cash? How can we get to that point where we can actually do it?
So I'll go first. For me, it's scheduling, and I had to learn that. That is something that because I felt like both my kids were already here by the time I established my first solid business. But scheduling is key for me. Like I had to learn the whole fly by when kind of thing didn't work in business. It might work in a regular 9 to 5, which you kind of still have a schedule, right? Monday to Fridays, 9 to 5, you come home, you might cook dinner, da, da, da. It's kind of the same. Like it still has to be structured. So once I started, and I didn't open multiple businesses at one time, it was over time, and I made sure one was grooving smoothly before I embarked on another one. That's the other thing we see. Like social media is so saturated now that we want our hands in every pot. And this is why you're so burnt out, right, in business, because you here, you there, you're there. And I'm not telling you don't do it, because you have to have more than one stream of income at this point, but it has to be scheduled. Like my daughter, they scheduled a last minute basketball game for her today. And it was supposed to be right after this. And I'm so glad I got the text like 5 minutes before we jumped on and said it was canceled. Because I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie, mom is tired. And my kids will tell you all day, like, and I'm not that mom to be like, yo, I work my business 24 hours a day. I don't. I sleep. I get rest. I tend to my children because they're only children for but so long. And there was a point in time when my kids were like, yo, mom, you always on a meeting. You always, yes. But I let them see it. And I think that's the important part with us as parents is let your children see you working and grinding so that they understand what comes with this. So I encourage you as a mom or any moms that will watch this, listen to this, self-care is important. And I don't care what self-care could be getting a candy bar and eating it. And that's your treat. Whatever it is for you got it. And you have to be so in that moment of self-care. Because what happens with self-care, right? We'll go to the spa and we'll be thinking, oh, I gotta send this email when I get home. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I have learned to just be there in the moment. I don't even check my emails before I start my self-care. And utilize your village. We have this stigma in the Black community as Black moms that we have to have that superwoman symbol stamped on our back. Yeah, be superwoman, but utilize your village. That they're there for a reason. As long as everybody understands their role and their position, you utilize them.
So to piggyback off what you said, definitely scheduling. I'm having trouble with scheduling because I do have a 3-year-old, and he is not in school due to pandemic, right? So, but I am trying to put him back into school. He actually goes this fall, so I'm just praying that I can get my scheduling back in order like it once was when he was in daycare. But that is the main thing, that in order to proactively do anything, you have to have that schedule set ahead of time. And my husband tells me all the time, like, turn the TV off, make sure you have, like, because you want to be able to focus and be able to get everything that you can in the time frame that you can get it done in. And especially, like she said, treating yourself. I know I used to do it all the time, like not really relax during massages. Like my brain is just going a mile a minute. I can't even like focus on what's happening. A lot of people do not have that family village. My parents are not even anywhere near where I am. So it's kind of like I have to do most of the work around here, literally with watching my son. My husband works as well, but he's literally, we working in the same household, but he also has something to do. Like, you know what I mean? He also working. So it's really hard. So if you do not have a village like that, it's really important to take time to really try to set things out in a schedule where you can get things done. You want to delegate certain things, certain tasks that need to get done, emails or anything like that. You can hire certain people to help do things. And I just spoke to somebody else recently about doing a laundry service. Simple things like that can really like lift off all the tasks that you have at home. But little things like that really do make a big difference in helping you to get your life back in track and get your life back in order. But like I said, if you don't have that village, you really have to plan it perfectly so that you can be able to do the things that you want to do. And she's right, child. Eat that candy bar. Eat that candy, please. Say, eat it. Have a glass of wine, okay?
So you mentioned that you have your 3-year-old at home and you and your husband are both working from home. So what does a typical day look like for someone in your position that is running a business and also has additional businesses on the side? Because I know you mentioned that you do lashes and all different type of facials and things like that on outside of also, being the VP of the company that your family owns. So talk a little bit about what a typical day looks like, please, because we need to know.
So, my main day to day is for sure, like I have to do a lot of different tasks, like sending emails out, because I am the one that does social media. I do emails, I do text marketing, I do all of these things for my customers. We literally have the phones, we answer on phones. We have a location in the mall. So between let's see, the mall used to open at like 9 or 10, but since COVID, it started open at 11. So the people that don't know that, they're calling between 9 and 11. So I have to answer those calls. between 7 p.m. and 9 a.m. I have to answer those calls. You know what I mean? So different things like that. But in order to kind of like take that away from yourself, my sister and I, we do it together. And so that's what I love by having my sister. We tag team. So it's not like all the burden is on one person. We're actually helping each other out. Although she is not, she's in North Carolina and I'm in Maryland. We do have that option where we can kind of lift each other's burdens up. We doing tasks, delegating this, you take care of this, you take care of this. Another thing, which Candace just called me a couple of days ago, I literally just left doing a convention. So my company, we do 40 cities a year just doing trade shows. So we set up, sell Javontei Cosmetics at all these different trade shows. And I literally have my son with me. I have him with me sometimes. Sometimes I don't. Like if my husband can watch him, great. If my mother-in-law's in town, great. Somebody's able to help us out and watch him in that sense. But it's not always like that. You know, I do have an opportunity to take him along. He's literally, I say it all the time, my son has been on at least 50 flights and he's 3. So he's been all over with me and I take forever. And that's why I was mentioning about systems, especially having your own business. Systems are so important. And having things already scheduled, you scheduling out. So for instance, like I have an app called Planoly for social media. I make sure I try to schedule some social media content being taken out. We have an email server called Klaviyo. Klaviyo does the text marketing. It also does email marketing as well. So different things like that. And you can also schedule that out as well. Helping to schedule everything out is how your day can run smoother without you even having to worry about certain things. So, you know, utilizing a lot of these different apps, it does help me as a mom to kind of keep the ball rolling and keep things going in a day-to-day basis.
And a typical day for you, Jasmine?
Typical day for me is my mom lives literally probably like 5, no more than 8 minutes from me. And my oldest daughter's school is closer to my mom. So she sometimes stays with her for the night and then just gets up and goes like literally around the corner for school. But I still have to make sure she's getting everything done and all that other good stuff. So for me, it's kids drop off, and then it's go time. So it's emails. And then I either have a meeting, I have calls I have to make. Sometimes I will schedule, there's always something new to learn, right? Now it's like NFTs and there's the metaverse coming or it's here and you have to figure out how to navigate that because now they're talking about opening stores in the metaverse and there's just always something new to learn. So I'm constantly on like YouTube University, that's what I call it. I'm constantly like, and then I try, I'm not good at social media. I am not gonna lie. That is not my lane. So trying to find somebody that understands it is not an easy task to do because everybody's a guru and you don't really know if it's true or not until you spend your money and see if they can really give you the result. Apps are amazing. Klaviyo is amazing when it comes to doing certain things in marketing and emailing and things like that. I know there's another one called like Hootsuite where you can do social media stuff. Like I said, I can think of amazing content, but when it comes to actually shooting it and all of that, I'm just like, because I'm from an era where it's like you don't want everybody in your business. I'm just not used to that. So, and then especially being in like the hemp and cannabis industry.
Talk about how you've been able to maintain your discretion and still be successful, because some people don't know how to finesse both,
I've always been a behind the scenes person, always. I don't mind not being in the limelight, but the reason why I like to be discreet about it is number one, the stigma behind both industries that I'm in. I'm with the sex toys and lingerie, and then I'm over here with cannabis and hemp, and it's like there's such stigma with both. It's like either you're a freak or you're a pothead, and which, it's like that's really weird. And I really enjoy the sex toy part of it, not because of the toys so much, but because in my line of coaching, I do business and relationship coaching. So with the relationship side, I've been able to help a lot of relationships with spicing it up a little bit, bring some oomph back into this 25-year marriage that seems like I got a little stale, and things like that. But I like to be discreet because I feel like if people knew, like some people know I'm behind my brands, and then other people it's kind of like well, the cannabis, everybody knows I'm behind now. But the toy store, I don't know. I just always was really discreet about it. You won't see my face on anything, nothing with the toy store. And then when it comes to like advertising and marketing, um, I don't like recently a complete stranger tagged my business. No, I commented on his post and then he hit me up like 2 hours later. He was like, Jazz, this post is at like 20,000 views. So go ahead and tag your business on it. And I tagged my business, and at, I think to this day, we're at like almost 3,000 views. I mean, 3 million, sorry, 3 million views. And I've made a lot of money off that one post. I've made more off that one post than I've made on some jobs
Wow.
in a matter of like 3 months.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like the power of social media is crazy. It's crazy. But again, and I go under and I would comment, but I don't let like people don't know it's me behind it at all. And it's funny because like I think one time somebody's mom that I know ordered something from me, but business is business. You know, I'm not gonna look at Miss Caroline no different.
Right. Okay. So we know what a typical day is like after, we get the kids settled, we get to work, right? Or we just have to bring them along for the ride because that's just how it is from time to time. So what or who rather, who or what inspires you to continue to keep your entrepreneurial journey going, to start more businesses, to learn new things, to think of new ideas, and just to maintain? What was your inspiration? Do you have a new inspiration? I know that you both mentioned that it's just something that you feel inside. So can you just share a little bit about that?
So I think for me, prior to having my son, I think I was just inspired just in general about, I think my mom has always been my inspiration, just watching her, literally for years, I've watched her do all this stuff with makeup and brows. But I always say I've mastered even more than she has. And I always laugh about that. But yeah, she's my original inspiration. And then now, of course, my son is my inspiration because I want to make sure that he is financially secure. I want to make sure that he is set. If he decides to go to college or not, he is going to be financially set and he's going to be ready. And so I think that, definitely having children gives you a new motivation. So now you want to keep pushing, you want to keep grinding to make sure that he's good or your children are good in general. I think that definitely having something or someone as a inspiration is just the guiding force of how you're able to keep going. Because you can have burnout, like she mentioned, you can have burnout in this industry, and especially the beauty industry, and it is saturated. But you still have to find your space, find somewhere where you fit in, and then flourish from there because you have these people depending on you. You have, these people on your backs, they're not on your backs like that, but they are riding with you. So they are on you as in a part of you. So you want to make sure that everybody is good that is around you, that is connected to you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely my kids are inspiration always. Just because I know what I've been through at certain jobs and I never want them to have to encounter that. Or if they do, that's fine. Come work for your mother. I'll employ you. I'll pay you. So it's definitely them. Um, as everyone knows, my slogan, I went from dating the hustlers to becoming one, but legally. So I've always liked a certain lifestyle. I like money. I like fast money. I like nice things. I come from my family's, pretty set with money as well. But the hustler mentality, and I wrote, it's so funny. I challenged one of my professors challenged me in college and was like, I wanted to write a paper on hustling, and she was like, I don't really think that's a good idea, and blah blah blah. And when I got done with my paper, she was like, I completely get it. Because in her mind back then, hustling was just drug money. And I'm like, girl, we hustling to get degrees and get A's and pass these classes. Everybody hustles. You come to work, you come here to hustle. You need a paycheck, you know?
Yep.
And she was like, I never looked at it in that aspect. I had a couple of coworkers I liked, but the employee mentality would drive me nuts at work. The
Okay.
fact that people would let the job work them and they don't know how to work the job would drive me nuts.
how can someone become a better entrepreneur and, get better at whatever it is that they're doing? How can they take it to the next level? Like, a lot of people just don't know where to begin. Like I can cook really well and I'm selling these dinners, but what else could I do differently so that I could, maybe one day have a food truck or whatever it is? How do I get to the next level? Even if you have any tips on better habits, like for example, the scheduling, like how do I get into scheduling if, I never really did that before. So basically, how do I do more than just stay afloat? How do I just really, really take it to the next level on an ongoing basis?
So I know for me, it's well, number one, like I tell everybody that wants to become an entrepreneur, if your mindset is only on the money, this won't work. This won't work because the money's gonna come. Trust me, it's more than enough money. The bank's got more than enough money floating around, right? So you have to have a goal and a passion for something, for what you're doing. And then I always tell people, respect your journey, because you're going to learn who you are in business if you really want to be in business. Who I am in business and who I am as a friend is two different people. And I had to learn certain things. Like I've learned through business. I have seasonal depression. So, and I live here in New York, so it's cold and it's gray in the winter. And if it's up to me, I won't leave my house if I don't have to. But I have to know that about myself in business. So now I have to put a structure. I have to put some type of structure in place for the winter months to say, girl, you got to get up. You got to do what you got to do. I don't care if it's gray out, you know. I don't care if you just got to get out and take a drive in the car and get a little motivated, and I got to do a little extra. But that's something I had to learn about myself. You got to be able to be in the journey as you're going through it, because you'll discover some amazing things about yourself. Making sure that you're open to constructive criticism in business, because you
Mhm.
don't have all the answers, and get around people that you want to be like you can't be. I'm never the smartest person in the room. So if I wanted to get into aesthetics, of course I'm gonna call her. And Javontei Cosmetics. I want to be that. Trade shows, like she has an extensive resume. You want to get around people, and there are people who will let you shadow them, mentor you. There are so many business owners looking for somebody to mentor that wants to be in the business and will do it for free. You just got to be able to put the work in and put the sweat equity in. And I'm a big proponent of, if it's not written down, it doesn't exist. It needs to be written down. It needs to be black and white. You need to be able to see it. You need to be able to erase it, correct it, edit it, restructure it, whatever. But start there. Start with writing out the plan. And I encourage everybody that wants to get in the business, you do a 5-year plan, but you do a 3-year plan as well. And it's subject to change. But start with that as a solid foundation. Because I have a whole notebook and it's just stuff in it. I did like ideas. I have stuff written on all type of stuff in my house on the wall. It's like anytime, like, oh, wait, what about this and what about that? And then you do your research. So as Marquel was saying, the beauty industry is overly saturated, but you have to find your lane. So now that's the other part of this. Okay, you want to get into something. How saturated is this? And what are the price points? What are the price points? Because I'm tired of us as people saying charge what you charge and know your worth and add tax, and Gucci does this and Prada, but you're not Gucci, you're not Prada. You don't even know how Gucci started. If you didn't do the research behind Gucci been around for almost 100 years. You've been in this not even 100 days, huh? Gucci didn't start out charging top dollar. These are things that we don't research. You got to research the people that you want to be like. And then if you got to be manifesting is so important as well. If you're going to talk about Gucci and all this other stuff, understand what comes with that territory. They get a lot of chargebacks. They issue a lot of refunds daily. So if you one of them, I ain't giving no refunds, ain't no exchange, baby, then you not Gucci.
Mhm.
Because you're not even following your structure. What kind of business you want? Is this luxury? Is it high end? Are you mid level? Are you on the lower pay scale? Where we going? You have to have some type of direction for sure.
If you do not have a plan, Lord, where are you going? Like, you have to have a plan, especially if you know, like, literally, for example, with the cooking business, if you want to cook and you know you got the best mac and cheese in town, you know that, your family knows that, why don't you just research? And I think people just don't even get on Google to research nothing. Google is a free search engine. It's a search engine. What you want, search for it. Look for it. And like she said, you can manifest these things to yourself as soon as you start looking. Literally, you look for something, it pops up. You're looking for your keys. You manifest them. Where are your keys? And you find them instantly. It's about manifestation. You have to really look for things and research, write down exactly how things are going to be, how they're going to go. And I think sometimes we don't even write down our goals anymore. And people just get lost in that, you know. But for sure, I'm just going all the way back to different habits. Some people just have certain habits, and I know a lot of us, we have this lazy spirit where we don't really want to do anything. You know, the pandemic made everybody lose all of their spunk. And so they're like, okay, well, I'm working from home. I don't have to get out. I don't have to see nobody. I don't have to, and especially in the beauty industry. I had all these people just this past week. Oh, I'm not putting on no makeup. I'm not doing this, doing that. Presenting yourself as a whole package is part of your sales. Like, it's part of who you are. Like, even doing your makeup for a little bit of something, my goodness, a lipstick, put something on your eyebrows, something really makes the presentation all together. So as somebody looking for business, as somebody wanted to look the part, somebody wants to, like, you just fake it till you make it. Then does not mean going to go spend the most money. Like, that does not mean that at all. The Goodwill has some high-end pieces for the low. You can always try to look the part to get to you where you want to go. And I think that people just kind of forget, like, especially you trying to, for example, you want to have your stuff all over the world. You want to do this. Well, it doesn't have to be cooking, but like beauty industry wise, I have a lot of my people that my students, they want to have their products here. They want to have their stuff there. But if you don't have that vision for it, if you don't have everything written out exactly where you want it to go, it's not going to make it there. I've always had this vision that I wanted Javontei to be in these big box stores. I've always had that. I've always wanted that for Javontei. And we recently got the opportunity to go into Target. But I realized that Target wants us to be under $15, and that's not my prices. We've been in business 40 years. I don't sell things under 15. My lip glosses are $18. So they want you to kind of like devalue yourself, and you don't have to do that. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to devalue yourself in order to fit somebody else's model. But like what you say, for those who are putting themselves out there, wanting to be, just for example, these hairstylists that it's just really crazy nowadays as hairstylists. They're not washing hair. They're not even like, you got to do all this extra stuff. Ma'am, I'm trying to come to you because I want my hair to grow. I need you to wash it. I need you to trim it. I need you to treat it. No DMs. Don't message me about nothing in my DMs. Like, a lot of things like that really block your blessings, because you're really cutting off stuff. Like, you cut it off. Like, I don't want to deal with you, which means I don't want to deal with you as a customer. And my nail girl is like that. No kids, no food. If you cough one time due to COVID, I'm escorting you out of here. Literally, she does a lot of, she's really dramatic. And it really takes a toll on a lot of these new business owners. They really trying out here to do their best. But now we know that all hairstylists don't wash your hair. We know that all these people don't do this. So I think that we just, as habits, we got to do better. We really have to do better. But businesses and social media, I know she mentioned about social media. I am the worst at social media. I'm trying to do so much better. I'm trying to do better to myself, okay? And I'm literally holding on to 35,000 people on my Instagram, Javontei Instagram, and I'm trying my best to get them out there. And I'm like, all my people, I need y'all to do reels. You are the face of the brand. I did hire a social media girl just last year. And I had to get rid of her because I felt like nobody can really do your business like you. When I told her that we had a store, oh, y'all have a store? Research it. Like, if you're doing a brand for somebody, research the things that you're doing, especially these people that want to be social media marketers for people. Research what you're doing. Research a brand. If you know that this company has been out for all this time, of course, we're going to have a location somewhere.
I want to talk about what you feel your best moment has been along the journey of, owning your own brand, or, just what part of it is your favorite? What do you love about it?
My favorite is just having all of my customers really just enjoy the cosmetics brand. Like, you know what I mean? Like when you have your people call you or writing reviews and letting you know that I love this so much, it helped clear my skin up. I think that really, really makes me feel good because you are in the right industry, you know what you're doing. And then with the referrals, they telling other people, I love this product. And I think the customers is really, really gives me like that warm, fuzzy feeling that I know that I'm doing this right because it's people are receptive to you. They're receptive to your brand. And I think that is what really, really just is a bonus for me.
That's an amazing question. I actually have three, but they're quick. So one, with the prom, with my nonprofit, the tears that the parents end up with on prom day, and like the single mothers who come to me, like I could have never pulled this off because we get our dress, their dresses actually get custom made now. And the burden that I've lifted off parents, because at one point I considered myself a single mother, and it was rough. It was rough sending my daughter to private school by myself and my oldest daughter. It was rough. So being able to lift that burden was just amazing. That's always one thing. My second moment was with my life coaching and business coaching. Um, I've been flown all over the world to do retreats, and flying other places on other people's dimes is the wave. I don't care what nobody tells you. And then the last thing is being able to provide for my kids solely off my business is amazing. Like to be able to provide Christmas and birthdays and just little things that they want here and there. Like me making $500 now versus making $500 on a 9 to 5 hits way different.
Talk to me about challenges, realistic things that you've gone through, and a little bit about the storm.
I think that for us being like a big time, well, I want to call ourselves big time. Okay, I'm putting it out there. But online, online business, I think sometimes, there's always pros and cons to things online. So we try our best to do like this whole beautiful shipping and all this stuff. But like she mentioned before, there's always going to be somebody that's complaining about something. They didn't get this or they got the wrong thing. And, I think that once upon a time, we used to get a lot of like just complaints about just random things. But I think that once myself and my sister kind of took over, all of that really has subsided, which is really, amazing part on myself and my sister, or my sister specifically, because she really made a big difference in trying to make sure, like, get these people their products within a week. Like, you know what I mean? So we don't even have to hear that, and if they don't, that's on the post office, you know what I mean? So, but it's really, because you don't want to have to hear that struggle of the people like, I need my stuff, I'm going out of town, and all these complaints that you have. You don't want that. So I think as a business owner, you have to really kind of put yourself in a position as the customer. And so, we always say the customer's always right. And even though sometimes the customer is all the way wrong, we want to just kind of feel for the customer, putting yourself in their position, because either they had a bad day, or like you really don't know. And sometimes customers can really, because we have an actual store, sometimes customers come in just like having the worst day ever and then try to project it on you. And now you are upset. Like, especially some of my employees, I've had my employees like upset and crying off of something that a lady said. You know what I mean? And you really have to just remember that it's not about you. And you cannot have your heart on your sleeve, especially in business, like at all. Like you cannot have your emotions on your sleeve. You have to be able to shake it off and know that when people are telling you no, it does not mean no to you. It means no, not right now. As a business owner, you really have to kind of put yourself in the position as the client, as the customer who is on the back end or on the opposite side of that computer ordering stuff for you. You know what I mean? So it really takes, and that I think is part of like the struggle of business, because people don't really, like, you want to run a business great, but you have thousands of customers at this point, how can you make them all happy? You know what I mean? How can you make all of your customers happy without some kickback, without them upset about something, without them mad about, like, I didn't get my product on time, I had somewhere to go, or so it really takes, you as the main person, you have to really just be proactive in all the situations and not be reactive in certain situations.
I think for me, vendors can be, especially starting out, right? Because you're gonna waste some money somewhere along the line with a vendor, unless you find one who's like perfect straight out the gate, or somebody gave you a recommendation. But back when I started, a lot of other people weren't in business yet, so I kind of had to feel my way with my vendors, and now I have an amazing one, who's right here in the States. So shipping and all, I wish they did drop shipping, but other than that, the toy store was kind of seamless. I really didn't have too many issues with that, except for the fact that you have to make people comfortable about talking about sex. So I always have to like crack a joke or say something funny before they jump right on in and want to talk about it. So thank God I don't have to really be in the forefront like that anymore, and just openly talk to people. But with the cannabis and the hemp industry, oh man, this industry, the money side of it is racist and sexist. So the people with the big money, the millions that can really get things up and running, they don't want Black people in the industry because of the money that we can generate and the money that we can make. So that's an issue whenever I go places. So my mentor in the business is a Black farmer who brought me into the industry, and he is like phenomenal. He's a reader too. He's amazing. But anytime we show up somewhere together, I'm never a partner. I'm never my own empire. I'm always the wife or the girlfriend. So when I got into the industry, I started making really good money, and I was like, I want to put other Black people on, and I started an affiliate program. So those are some real challenges, and I think that's a big part about building a brand is, to what extent are you willing to go for this brand? Are you willing to go places by yourself? I go to seminars by myself. So many times we want somebody to go places with us and do things with us, and in business it's you, unless you got a partner. So Marquel has a sister, but unless she has anybody else, your friends will tell you, girl, I gotta work, I can't come. Girl, I got a husband, I got a family, I can't. You got to be able to go places by yourself, because sometimes that's where your blessing is. That's where the level up is. That's where your next step is who did I meet when I went this place? And again, go by yourself. What kind of experience are you providing people when they encounter you? I've literally woke up some mornings and I gotta lay back down for another 5 minutes because I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Like, hold up, sis, you gotta you need a minute. You gotta get you a cup of tea, and we're gonna have to figure this out when you encounter these people and these emails today, because the way that you react to things says a lot about where you are in life. Yeah, and the challenges are gonna come because, child, you got $20,000 one month and $200 the next month.
Absolutely.
Got to know your slow seasons. You have to be able to pivot. You have to be able to and sacrifice. Let me say that. Sacrifice in business. What I mean by that is I can't always go out with my friends. I can't make it to every dinner. I can't make it to every lounge. I can't, because sometimes that money I'm gonna spend, I can funnel back into business next week. Sometimes I got these orders I gotta fulfill, so I can't come. Or if I do, I'm gonna make it late, or I might not make it at all because I get so engrossed and I get busy. Oh, you know what? I gotta finish reading up on this new thing that's getting ready to hit the market or pop out. It's sacrifice. You gotta be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to want to sacrifice more than you want to be seen. Because social media makes it that everybody just wants to be seen, and we see people blow up and we think they're overnight successes, and not knowing they put years in. You just seeing the glow up part. You ain't see the trenches. I'm not gonna lie, you may not know how to work every challenge. You need a mentor.
Yes.
That's a huge part in business as well. Because when you feel like you get ready to jump off the ledge, sometimes you got to call somebody else and be like, listen, how should I handle this? Or how would you handle this? Or am I right in this? Am I wrong? You got to have that, because that person can tell you, okay, well, instead of doing it this way, do it this way. Or instead of saying it this way or responding this way, try saying it this way and sprinkle a little honey on it, put a little sweetness on it. But get a mentor. Get a mentor. It'll save you.
I know we talked about social media and how things look and not being so good at that, but we still have to make money. We still have to run these businesses as things evolve. So, how have you been able to stay on top of trends, or how have you been able to elevate your brand even without?
I think, of course, with beauty, trends change like that. Like the brow in 2016 is not the brow in 2022. Like, you know what I mean? So trends change so much with beauty. It's crazy. But I think, especially for social media, like once upon a time we were doing IGTV really heavy, right? But now it's all about Reels. It's all about TikTok, and Reels really can elevate your business. You can grow really quickly with that. I think trends in general, especially for beauty industry, you really have to just jump on it, just do it. Like, just go ahead and just sacrifice. And like she said, sacrifice. You really got to sacrifice this stuff and just do it. Just get it done. Like, there are times where I don't feel like doing a thing, right? And I'm like, let me just put this lipstick on real quick and just make a video. Because people don't know how to do it exactly. They don't know if that color looks good on you or not. You know what I mean? But just do it. Just do a video. And social media in general, of course, I think Reels, if you start doing Reels, or if you start doing on TikTok, I know people are really blowing up on TikTok, but if you're doing Reels in general, that's really going to help to elevate your business. I mean, literally, because you're getting all these different views from all over, because it goes to like the explore page. So now you have all these people just following you because they like what they see. Simple things like making a glass of tea. Like, we doing stuff every day, just normal, like living our lives. But that's part of the lifestyle brand that you are. Like, you are a brand in general. So say you getting your hair done, do a reel about that. You getting your nails done, do a reel about that. You don't necessarily have to shout out anybody, okay? But you make sure you just showing them that this is the lifestyle that I'm living. This is because people are looking at you also because they want to be like you. They want to follow in your footsteps. So doing small things like that really does open them up. And I know since having my son, I have a whole new tribe of people, the moms, right? So the moms are always on my page. They want to see what my son Max is up to. so I do a lot of stuff with him. I started doing reels with my son. I follow along, especially like the music that's going on. Like, if a song is hot right now, save that song so you can go back in there and start doing something with it. And you could be doing anything. Like, what was the song? Money Long song. Everybody was going ham on that song, right?
Yes.
So they was going ham on that song. Hours and hours. Yeah. I'm like, what is that song? They was going ham on
cooking food. People were going on vacation. People were boob loving. People were doing hair, cooking fried
braids, nails, hours and hours. We're doing all this stuff.
Anything else that you use?
So I have a whole bunch of apps. I have an app called Over. I think it's called Studio now. Studio. So I do my flyers, like little flyers and things like that, especially if you don't. I know people have Canva. Everybody has Canva. But just invest in like little $10, or my husband say, just go ahead and get the yearly, just pay for it for the year. Canva, Studio, InShot, Vixer is one, Vixer. A lot of these different apps really help to elevate your business if you don't even know what's happening. Just go ahead and just do a video, upload it on InShot, and then just post it in your reel. You put a little text in there and keep it moving. Add your song to it. Yeah, with Klaviyo, you can schedule emails as well. Klaviyo has a new thing now. It's like a subject line generator. So if you don't even know what you want to put in your subject line, you just put in the description, say what you want to say about a particular product.
So I actually took a month off of social media just to do some research on trends, reels, TikToks. So I think I kind of got it from what I'm seeing. And that it's really easy to get your numbers up as far, because like people are literally just making reels about everything, any and everything at this point. Like I did a reel just talking about some stuff going on in the industry with the cannabis. Excuse me, and I had more views and comments on that video than I've ever had on TikTok in life. So, and I'm hoping another social media platform doesn't come out anytime soon, because I'm just now figuring this one out. But also realizing you can start a trend, right? So you can be the one that started a challenge on TikTok. You can be the one that starts a movement, as they would say. So I'm trying to stay afloat on that because it's not easy. It's like you can literally schedule. You can pick a day like Sunday. Let's say Sunday is content day, so you're going to create content for the week. You can create enough content to at least get you through till Wednesday or Thursday, and then you can come back and maybe do a live on Friday, knowing your lane, and it could be your lane for the week. It doesn't have to be your lane for life. This week I'm going to work on beauty reels. Next week I'm going to work on like now I want to start promoting Black-owned businesses heavily. So I'm going to start, like the month of March is my birthday month. I just dedicated it to Black-owned businesses, and I took footage, and now I'm starting to put those videos together. And you might have a Thursday, maybe business Thursdays, and you give business tips. So figure out a schedule for that too, and be consistent with that as well.
But for social media, grab the micro influencers. That could be like anybody, I think, that have like 2,500 followers. Those people actually have a group of people that listen to what they're saying. Micro influencers are really the ones that really can make your business boom. I've had people like followers that are a million followers, like people have 1 million followers and they want to work with my brand, but they're also charging, right? They're charging. But listen, a friend of mine's name is Kiera. She probably has like no more than 3,000 followers, but she has generated, I gave her own coupon code and everything. Like, why not? You know what I mean? It doesn't hurt me to give you a coupon code. I can get, Candace, you got to have one in a second, girl.
I know, right? I want one.
But it doesn't, it's nothing to give somebody a coupon code. You know what I mean? So I've started to grab my brand ambassadors. And I think that it really, especially a business, if you're having a business, 10% off, like you give them 10% off, and it's nothing to give the influencers, which are micro influencers, give them a little something, and then they can give to their followers. And then you come back in and give them commission from that, from their sale. So, but yeah, try to make sure that you can add in micro influencers with your business, because micro influencers really do, they start talking. That's the word of mouth nowadays, is through micro influencers. People doing little mini unboxing videos, because Candace just sent me an unboxing video. I'm like, girl, Pat, send me that. I'm trying to repost that. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't want that to.
Okay.
I got the full video now.
But yeah, doing little things like that really do elevate your business, especially creating reels. Use somebody else's reel that they already sent. They've already done. Repost that reel. And that's part of it's part of your whole content strategy.
The words of wisdom and the words of encouragement, if you have any more.
Sometimes you have to encourage yourself, because, when people are out, the world is crazy, right? And sometimes you really have to encourage yourself as a business owner, as a mom, as a friend, as a parent. Encourage yourself. Everybody's not going to be there to pat you on the back and congratulate you for doing well. Make sure that you do it to yourself. I like to treat myself every now and then. I go get me a white chocolate mocha at Starbucks. So I like to make sure that I'm treating myself. And you have to encourage yourself. Like, you can do this. You got this, girl. You got this. Give yourself that boost and that motivation that you can do it, and never give up.
Anything that you've done to help keep you on the road that you're on, which is obviously the path to success. So if you could just give a little bit of information in that realm.
Okay, sure. So one thing that I've lived by for a very long time is, to whom much is given, much is required. So if you want a lot, you got to put in a lot. And that's just logic with life. So that and each one teach one. I'm always big on helping somebody else, bringing somebody else back up, because it doesn't cost me anything. And I will say this, I didn't become successful until I became humble. Because when I first wanted to start business, I was like, I can't wait. I'm going to go back to my old neighborhood. I'm going to have this kind of car. I'm going to have this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm a front and I'm a stunt. And God humbled me real quick, real quick. So being humble for me and staying humble is a big thing. I'm big on music. Even when I fulfill my orders, I'm usually listening to some really, really great feel good music. I can live without a TV. I can't live without my radio or my music. And the last thing I'll say as far as what I do is the toy store, that industry is a bit saturated. I'm not going to lie to you guys. It's not the easiest to get into, but it's rewarding. And there are so many new things coming about that if you wanted to jump into that, that's cool. But the cannabis and the hemp industry, There are so many ways to go about this. And I want first of all, I want Black people in the industry, because I'm tired of being one of the only faces at the table. Like, don't just think dispensary and flower is the big thing here, because we've all seen Paid in Full and we watch these movies and they moving weight and making money. We need labelers. We need people that understand private labeling, manufacturing. We need lawyers. We're going to need accountants. We're going to need manufacturing plants. We're going to need people that understand packaging, social media. I met with the legislatures here yesterday in New York, and we were talking about getting cannabis licenses for minority people and what that looks like, and making sure that it realistically can happen. God blesses people when you put foot to pavement. I've seen that. And prayer life is important. I can't express that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Prayer is important. Prayer is going to get you through some days, some moments, some things. I always tell people, don't just ask that God open doors. Ask that he open windows and doors. Because if you look at most buildings, there are more windows than there are doors.
Come on here.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be flooded with abundance, and you got to get so intentional with things. Business is intentional, right? So yeah, and I always see people, I want to make $1 million, but how we get in there? You can't make $100 consistently. You're missing the steps. You can't miss the steps. You know, so you gotta be able to pull back and be real with yourself. That's one of the hardest things as an entrepreneur, is to say, oh snap, I ain't do that right. Oh, I could have did this differently. Okay, next time this is gonna be. That's one of the hard, because entrepreneurs swear they know it all. Oh yeah, I've done this, I've done that, I've read this, I've read that, and you'd be like, oh, I didn't read that part though. So be able to correct. Self-reflection is huge in being an entrepreneur. Huge. Treat people how you want to be treated. Yes, and I'll go right back to what I was saying earlier with Gucci and Prada and all of that. Some of you all are comparing yourselves to it. You've never even been in any of those stores. You don't even know what the shopping experience is like. What is that customer being treated like? And I'm all for luxury. I'm all for you wanting people to, you wanted to bring your brand to a certain level, but you got to understand what you're comparing yourself to. When you go in Gucci, you got a private shopper, to the point, even if you go to the same Gucci to return or exchange, if that person is on the clock, they become your shopper again. You got to be able to provide these experiences if this is what you really want. So research everything. As the young lady said earlier, Google is a free search engine. You can research everything on there. And I mean everything. Like you can type in stuff, you can talk some stuff, and ads will come up that you didn't even type in on your phone. You know what I'm saying? So research everything that you want to get into and make it intentional, and make sure you're doing it for fulfilling reasons and not just to fulfill your pockets and your bank account.
Excellent words that we've shared and conversation had today. I appreciate the both of you. I know that all and everyone watching will also, once they get all these gems. And I hope that we can do this again sometime. Not gonna lie, I'm gonna try to get both of you on live for some live Q&A, because I just think it'll be helpful for everyone who may have missed it, or who doesn't think that they need the full version. But we're gonna need to spread this out a little further. So I thank you both for today, but part 2 is coming.